Hey, what's up guys? I'm gonna do some reviews, but before we start I wanna tell you guys something because I got a comment today and that made me think a little bit about why I started this channel. I got a compliment that I helped a lot of people out and I told the guy, um, well, that's basically one of the reasons why I made this channel. Why did I make this channel? I want to help people out. And I think I'm at a certain point of the game where I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on, and I feel like I can help a lot of people, like high ranking people I think I can help even, but also the lower ranking people and the lower level people I can help. And basically, uh, what I'm saying to myself quite a lot is like, okay, you do these reviews, but there are um, you like there's not many people that watch these reviews because they're so specific. Um, but that doesn't matter. And what I say to myself today after that comment, I was saying like, okay, wait, why do you do the reviews on specific people? And I was like, okay, I know. Basically, I like to be helped personally. I like to get personal help, and not I like when you're a number. Like an overall guide, for example, my guide on Giants B10, that is a good guide in my opinion, and I think it's good for a lot of people. But it's not going to help everyone out. I mean, some people will see it and they know what to do, but there are also people that are not at that point. So basically, what I do with these reviews is just look at your specific point, right? What your why you where you are in the game and what you kind of need to go for and what you kind of want to do. And it's just advice, right? It's or criticism maybe, but good criticism. It's just to help you guys out, and I just wanted to say I want to thank you all for supporting me in my channel. And if you ever need help, reach out. Like reach out, and somebody is gonna take your hand. In this case, I'm gonna take your hand if you need some advice, and I'm gonna show you what I think is the best way for you to go, and you can do whatever what you want with that what you want. So enough to talk about the channel and why I do the reviews. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still really enjoying doing them. It sometimes is a bit much work, uh, but it's good. I help a lot of people out. I mean, they're specific, but I think I already helped like what, 80 people? I don't know how many reviews I've done, but enough, right? So let's see. We have Munchiax. I actually did a review on her not so well, kind of I think a few days ago even. But she uh, stated with a comment, I picked up some new monsters and I'm really confused which monsters to use on my team. So basically, she still feels she has too much fire, but she's the one that has some good monsters summoned, and we're just gonna check which monsters she got back. What is good, before we start, I want to check out all your monsters. Okay. What is good to see is that she actually took some of my advice and started leveling this Howl. Not awakened yet, but that's fine. I mean, it takes time to get awakening stuff. But she took the advice, so that's really cool to see. She even got like almost every rune correct, but I think she's just in need of some of the runes. So the new units, if I'm correct, is the Brownie Magician and the Nine-Tailed Fox. And she said it before and now again, I feel I have too much fire units. And that's correct, you have a lot of fire units, but it's too much? Well, they're good units, so I don't think so. What does this unit do? Increase attack power for 3 turns, make count, oh that's shit. Shit! The wind, oh the, what is it, the light jetty is shit. So, you still don't have a water unit that is gonna be amazing. But that's okay, I don't think you need that right now. You might have some troubles in some stages because you don't have the water, but you have the Howl now, which will give you enough time to kill most stages, I think. So basically you got two new units and they're both really good. I I would hold off from the Ninetale Fox for now. The reason for that is, well, if you need her, like if you need more DPS, yes, then use her. But the reason why I would hold off on her is because you have the Sylph and the Rakshasa already, which both are very useful for doing the damage. And that's the reason why I wouldn't go focus on the Ninetale Fox. It's a good unit, so save her. I got her as well. Definitely save her. You could actually, now I think of it, I know that her leader skill is increased attack power or fire attribute. So maybe this actually makes this actually goes really well. Like what you could do is make her your leader. Put your Brownie Magician in because he got a good skill that will help you as well. Owa and like your Sylph, and then they will all do quite some good damage. Like your Rakshasa will do good damage, your Sylph, even your Brownie Magician will do some decent damage because of the Ninetale Fox. So that's actually a really good setup. Obviously when you go against a lot of fire, water, that's not the best thing you can do, but in all other situations where there's maybe just one water unit, this is gonna be really strong. So actually I would say, yeah, max out this guy and use her as your leader when you don't need water monsters. So I would focus on these two new units, definitely. If I'm correct, this is an attack unit. She does have a sleep, but that's not why she's good. So what I would do is just Fatal Energy. Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. You could even go Fatal Blade for more damage. This is a bit more surviving, but I think this is fine. And then attack percent, as you have. Yeah, you ruined them perfectly. Perfect. For the Brownie Magician, I personally like to make him a bit fast and to give him despair. Why is that? Because Run is basically a violent set on its own, and this hits everyone, which is good for despair, and this gives just the buff and immunity, which is very strong. You will need that later on. In the early stage it's not that great. Plus he has also a leader skill that's pretty useful. What I would do for him is I would make him swift if you don't have the despair runes, and I would make him swift energy, or I would make him despair energy. If you have despair runes, go with that. If you don't have them, don't go for that. If you go for swift over despair, the runes will be 2 will always be speed, 4 will be HP, and 6 will be HP. This is a very good unit. Later on you will have great use of her. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of fire, but you got a good fire leader here, so I think it's actually going to be a beneficial thing for you. Because you have like high quality DPS units on fire, good support units. Obviously, when you face a dungeon where you don't, like a water dungeon, for example, then you're not gonna take all of them, but then you just take Lulu, Rakshasa, your Dead Knight, and something else, maybe the Brownie Magician, maybe the Speed Leader, who knows. Like if you awaken him, you could use him for his leader skill, which is pretty good, gives more HP to the rest. Yeah, and I would just add them up to the team. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, I should just focus on them. I know you got these maxed out, but they still need to get awakened at some point. I know they're very hard to awaken, so I would focus on awakening the Hall first, and then just go from there. And if you really have trouble with that you really need a water unit, the best water unit you have is the Inferno. But I used him actually myself for some time, but he's not the best. And also the Epicon Priest could be a decent res unit and heal unit, so those two units are pretty okay to use still. But yeah, you do have a fire team, but hey, I got a wind team. I got till the end game, so you will get that as well, man. Okay, I'll be right back with the other review. So Be right back. Okay, I'm back with titobari. He said, could you check my monsters please? I'm 100% focusing on getting the Valkyria from the fusion. But I don't feel comfortable with my monsters. I'm level 36, don't have a 6-star yet, and I don't know if my runes are okay. First of all, it doesn't matter that you don't have a 6-star yet. I think it's even better to not have one and just make sure all your 5 stars are up there. You have a lot of 5 stars. And right off the bat, I don't see why you're not comfortable with your monsters. You got great monsters. Amazing monsters if you ask me. I'll go over your monsters and tell them which are good, and I'll check their runes right away. Dagora is a pretty good monster. I would leave him at 5 stars because he's definitely not worth going for higher, but he has been probably really useful for you, so definitely a nice monster. And you ruined him correctly. The Water Ninja, I'm not sure if you need that for fusion. You ruined him up, so I think you don't. I mean, it's a decent unit. I think he will be replaced at some point, so I should definitely leave him on 5 star. I see you have a Water Beast Monk, and I don't know if you saw my video, but one of my guildmates has a Water Beast Monk, and he is really strong in arena because of 2 reasons. Trick of Water does pretty nice damage, but also defend. Defend is super strong because this unit is very strong, and he won't die. So basically, what you want to ruin him up for right now. See, you used some of your blade runes because there were HP percent. You might consider switching Dragoga's runes over to your Beast Monk and let him replace your Beast Monk. Let him replace your Water Bear, because the Beast Monk is also good for the dungeons because he can just defend one of your units, which is really good. So really awesome unit, and I think it's maybe not the best 5 star, but definitely a good one. Shaolin, I'm not impressed with these girls, so I would leave her for what she is. Jojo, very good unit. I would definitely keep using him. You went for Fatal Focus, and I think you ruined everything like correctly. Yeah, I mean you should try to get 8% more, and then you should be fine. And this rune will provide that if you upgrade it a bit more. It's not like a priority right now, but it's good. You even got an Arnold, really good monster. Again, really nice. I do see you used accuracy to get his accuracy up, an accuracy rune to get his accuracy up. What you could consider as well is make this an HP rune, and then use a focus set, for example, like this. You could switch to focus, and this you could switch to focus, and then make this an HP percent rune. Why do I say that? Well, an HP percent rune is gonna give more than the set, because the set gives 15% and the rune will give what, 22%, and the focus set will give 20% accuracy, and this 24%. So I think overall you come better. You will get a bit better stats. It's not bad or anything. I mean, it's not like you have to do that right now, but it's something that will help you. Then we got Beretta. I like her a lot, actually. I don't have her on my, well, I do have her actually, but I don't use her right now on my account because I just summoned her. You went with Swift Focus. I would suggest you to switch from Swift Focus to Despair Focus and get a high percent accuracy. Like get an accuracy rune on this slot, and the other two can be attack percent. And then you will have a Beretta that's really control based, and that's really good. This unit is really strong for Trail of Ascension as well, and I'm gonna use mine for that at some point as well. Rogue, I don't think he's gonna be good for you anymore. I think you have better units, so I would leave him behind. Ardella is a good wind one-shot monster. I must say you need to put a lot of effort into her to make her a really strong unit. You've done pretty good here. I think she's pretty good for you in arena. I would just leave her for now. I think that's. I'll tell you what your main priorities should be, in my opinion. But that's also what you like. But I think you ruined it fine. Then we got the copper. Nice. Did you get all the skills? No, but you're working on those skills, so that's pretty cool. Full guard. There are different ways to ruin this, but full guard is pretty much the cookie cutter build. It's and I like it a lot. I actually had a Korean that is top 300 gave me some advice on coppers, and he went with that. That's really hard to go, but he had a copper and he went with raged guard, and he got 70% crit. That's all from substats and all, and 200% crit damage. And he buffed him up with a crit buff, which will give you 30% crit. And then when he hit with the last skill, the Thunderstrike, it would always crit and would do like 35k. But that is a really advanced build for copper, so definitely not something you should focus on. Just keep him like this, it's good. Let's see, we got Chloe, really awesome unit. You might want to start working on her speed, because plus 31 is way too low. You might have, yeah, this needs to become a speed rune. The Swift set is correct, but as you can see, none of your runes have a speed substat. These are substats, as you know, and you need to get, like, this rune has, and it's not even a substat, this is a bonus stat because it's a quick energy rune, but you want to have substat with speed and get a speed rune on the slot too, because otherwise Chloe is not going to be as good as she can be. In arena, that is, because in PvE she just has to be the fastest of the team, but in arena you want her to be way faster, and I do definitely advise you to get that. You got Michelle. Actually, I would not do anything with her right now. I would just keep her. The reason for that is because she will be a good unit for rezzing and healing and extending the buffs, which is actually a pretty cool combo with Chloe, because you could extend invincible and gain immunity for a turn. So what you could do is make her, for example, you could make her just go after Chloe, do her block flow, and your units will have 3 turns. That's how I do it. 3 turns immunity and 2 turns invincibility, except for Michelle, I think. But that's pretty cool. That's a combination that I would like to see for PvE. Mikey is, I think that's one of your fusion materials. We got a Megan. You do need a buffer, because you don't have one. I think Megan will be the best. I mean, the Sieg is also good, but Megan overall will give you defense buff, which is better. Also, you want her to be quite fast. Make this an HP rune and you're good to go. The rest of the runes you made the correct decisions. Also on her, you want to try to get those substats with speed. I know it's pretty hard to get all those runes together, but that's really good. What else do we have? The Case and the Wind Jetty for the Giants runes, that's pretty good. This unit is actually pretty good. If you would use her, rune her up with Despair Focus, making 6 accuracy percent to other 2 attack percent. You got a Belladon, also a really good unit. If you want to rune her the best way you can, it should definitely be Violent Focus, but that's a bit of endgame there, so it might not be easy to do that. So what I would do is just make his HP high, his speed also really high, and his accuracy really high. That's what you aim for him. You got a Fire Vampire, that's going to be definitely a good unit to add to your units. You want to get him awakened and you want to get him 100% crit. I think you ruined him correctly, yeah, you ruined every unit correctly almost, so. But obviously you need to work on the runes still. So basically what I see here is that, not on the ground but here, is you have super much monsters that are really good. And your problem right now is that you have to make priorities on which units you're gonna get up to be your main team. I suggest you pick 6 units or something, or 5 or 6 units, and make them your main priority. And we have to set up a team for that. I'm gonna go over which units I think has to be in that team. One of those is Chloe. This is gonna be one of your priorities. What is the priority with her? Make her as fast as possible. Also try to get a resistance up at a decent amount. The other priority will be a buffer. I think you need a buffer. I think Megan is your best bet. Also, make her speed high and make her XP high, and her HP needs to grow because this rune has to go, and then HP rune. Okay, so we got Chloe and your Megan. Those are 2 support units. What we also need is something to. Well, we can basically now we can just decide where we want to go. Do we want to go a defensive setup? Do we want to go an offensive setup, or do we want to go control setup? Because you got it all, man. You could choose. I'm gonna give you my advice that I think I would do myself. But I must say that those 3 options that I just gave you are very viable. Megan and Chloe will be your support. I think what I would do is personally go for your Beast Monk to make that a priority. Arnold and I'm thinking Jojo. Beast Monk, Arnold, Jojo, Chloe, Megan. Those are units that I would go for. This is a tanky setup. And a really strong setup as well, because you have a lot of surviving. You got some good burst from Jojo and Arnold, and you got nice debuffs from Arnold, but also from Jojo you have some debuffs and you have some continuous damage. So that's why I think those are the greatest units to go for. But, and here's the thing, if you wanted to go for something completely different, you want to be really aggressive, then Chloe and Megan will still be in there, but then you could switch up units. Like you could maybe go for a different kind of setup. I do think the tank team is going to be the strongest, but obviously you could go for a bit different setup. Your Fire Vampire is also one of the units that I think is going to be in the team for any kind of dungeon, because he will speed up your farming process a lot if he's awakened. Like for example, if you want to be a bit more offensive, the Dark Phantom Thief is pretty good at nuking. So is the Fire one, and Beretta is also pretty good at doing some nice damage. And your Adela, but if I would just give my opinion, I would definitely go for Chloe, Megan, Fire Joker, Jojo, Arnold, and Beast Monk. That would be my suggestion. And for Arena, I would keep Beretta around because she could be your speed leader. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. If you want to have some other teams, you could. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you that. If you don't like the team I just gave you, that I think is good, you could come up with a suggestion what you think is that you want to use. But I think this is going to be the strongest defensive team that will do good damage because of Jojo and Arnold. And if you want to know, like, oh mate, Blackie, I want to have a different setup, try to figure something out what you think is a good setup, and then show me, like, just comment down below and tell me what you think is a good setup to use, and I'll comment if I think if I agree or not. But definitely Chloe and Megan, they're both gonna be in there. And then you're kind of free to do, but I think your Beast Monk, Arnold, and Fire Joker is gonna be the strongest of them all. So yeah, that was it, man. Hope you got something useful out of this. I think you just need to prioritize like 5 to 6 monsters. The ones I just said are pretty viable. You got a lot of other monsters that are good, so you got a lot of options, but I think this is gonna be the best. Okay, I'll be right back with another review. Okay, I'm back with Suggan. His question was, I have some problems on which ones I should focus, so pretty much prioritizing what you should go with first and then second and all that. So let's check it out. He has his I already seen his monsters, by the way. He has his Rakshasa, his first 6-star. I think he made a pretty good choice there. He still needs to awaken it. I'm guessing he's working on it. He got him ruined for damage, and I think that's because he wanted his first unit to be doing some nice damage, and I kind of agree with that. He did have the accuracy rune here, so still working on trying to get as high as possible. I think I would keep him for like this for now. Try to get his accuracy even more up when you can. So this is one of your prioritizing units. I know you already 6-starred him, but he still needs to be awakened, so that's important. And he still needs to work on to get to 100% accuracy. That's important as well. Then we got a cool combination here, because you got Ellen as your 5-star max out and everything. She's pretty cool together with Awa, because they both have Awa as a single target decrease of attack enemy bar, and Ellen has an AoE that does pretty much the same, which is pretty cool. So what I would like to do if I were you is get this unit and use her as well as one of your units to fight in maybe the arena, but also in the PvE mostly. But the arena, this could work as well, and get their attack gauge down. But she needs a lot more accuracy to become reliable. But then she's pretty good. Also, her second skill has a chance to freeze. So yeah, I would suggest you maybe switch out Blade for the focus set. I think I would focus on these two because together they're really good, because basically none of the enemies is gonna attack you, like almost ever. Then Megan is definitely a unit you want to focus on. Get her speed as high as possible. You are trying to do that, and you ruined him correctly. So doing a good job there. Also, Acasis is gonna be one of the units, the Wind Sylph, that you want to get up. You want to get him awakened. Is one of the few supports that actually needs to be 6-starred at some point. You made a mix between attack and defense. And you got Despair, so that's pretty cool. I think that's a good setup. I want to make mine Despair as well. Currently I'm running Swift, but I don't have the Despair runes to switch over. So you should focus on your Sylphid as well. And now the last unit, because I'm gonna give you with 5 units that I think are good together. It's quite hard to go for what you should go for next. I mean, you got some good units over here. I'll go over all your units that are good as well after this. And but I think you need to prioritize like 5 units, and that's it. And then when you finish them, start working on others. So we got Rakasha, the Ellen, Megan, the Wind Sylph, and I think the last unit which could be really good in this setup will be Crow. Why is Crow decent? Well, first of all, its first attack is a defense break, but also a continuous damage, which is good. The second attack is team up, also great. And his last attack is why I think he's gonna be decent in the team. Attacks the enemy wounds damage increased by 50% if enemy is under a harmful effect. This will do quite a lot of damage in this setup. For his runes, I would actually make sure that he has a good amount of accuracy. And you're doing that, so you're doing a great job. You know what you're doing, so that's good. And the reason why I think this team is going to be pretty damn strong is because Munchiax provides you with a slow but also a decrease on attack gauge, and she provides you with continuous damage dot. The Ellen provides you with more attack gauge debuff for the enemies, like they will decrease their attack gauge. And also she has a chance of freezing a unit, which is good. So I think she provides a good thing, and she also has an accuracy skill that could be useful for PvE. Megan will provide you with going first, but also provides you with buffs, dispel and continuous damage dots, so that's why I think she's just great. Then your Wind Sylphid is going to provide you with some survivability, because all the units are pretty squishy, but the Wind Sylphid will make them quite surviving. And then the setup will work pretty well, because barely any of the units will attack you, and when they finally attack you, they will just hit a shield. And then the Crow will be your high burst damage dealer. First of all, he has a scratch which will decrease the armor, which is fairly strong. Also can give a continuous damage dot, so that's also great. He has a team up, which is good, because if you team up with your Rakshasa, for example, you might get even more decreasing attack. And if you team up with something else, you could get a continuous damage dot, because the cases and your Megan has that. And his Scar will do great damage most of the time, because you have continuous damage dots from almost all your units, so that's a debuff. And you have the slow from 2 units, and you have do you have something else? The freeze, the slow, continuous damage. Maybe if he attacked first you got a scratch. So this will do a lot of damage, I'm pretty sure about that. I think this is going to be good setup, and I think you should focus on those 5 units. Now to talk about which units are also good to use is the water period. She's pretty good. She's pretty good with despair. Then we got the Nine-tailed Fox. She could be used for giants later on, for the reason is sweet talk, so that's why she's pretty decent. The War is pretty terrible, so I wouldn't use him. He's just not worth it. It's just damage. Like, the problem with the War is that it's an attacker and he does have a heal, but his heal based on his attack, so, and he's really weak, like he dies really fast. That's the problem. If he was a bit more tankier, he might have been okay, but now he's bad. Fire Samurai, I would hold off on them because you got better units. Lure, the the Water Phantom Thief is really good because he can provide you with an AoE decrease of attack bar, which will add up to your other 2, which is pretty cool. And if you ruin him with Despair, he could stun, but also decrease the attack bar and weaken the defense, which is great. And he has a stun, if I'm correct, and a slow. Inflicts damage up to 3 times each attack. Has sent to the attack speed. Okay. And this, yeah, this could stun. So basically, that is a good control unit that you might want to add up to your team later on. And you got a wind period, which is a good single target DPS. Basically, you have a lot of good units. You don't have any healers on your team, but cases will fill in the role where you don't have to heal, because most of the time they're not going to hit you at all with the setup I gave you. So that's why this team will work. So focus on those 5, and I'm pretty sure that team will go far in most every dungeon. I'm not sure about Giants B10, but that's something for later worries. If you can do B8 or some B7 with the team, eventually that will be good enough. I think the team can work pretty well, because with the decrease of attack gauge with 2 units and maybe later on 3, you only have to worry about his counter attack and that's it. And the cases could take the counter attack with his shield up. Like any unit could take it with the shield up. So that's, I think the team would actually work. You have a lot of continuous damage as well, so yeah. Yeah, that was the review. This is also the last review of this video. So I hope it was useful for you guys, and I'll hear from you when you need to know something else. Okay, see you guys later, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.